Let me begin with something many people quietly carry but rarely say out loud. You can eat clean, walk every day, avoid cigarettes, cut back on salt, and still watch your blood pressure stay high. Not once, not during stress, but consistently. And when that happens, it doesn't just confuse you. It makes you question your own body. Most people were given a simple formula. Do the right things, and the numbers will improve. So when the numbers don't move, the mind starts searching for blame. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm getting older. Maybe this is just how it is now. That quiet frustration builds because effort and outcome no longer match. Before we go further, we need to understand what blood pressure actually is. Blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against the walls of your arteries every time your heart beats. It is not just a number on a screen. It is a reflection of how hard your heart has to work to move blood through your body. Two main factors determine that pressure. The first is how much blood volume is inside your circulation. The second is how tight or relaxed your blood vessels are. More volume raises pressure. Tighter vessels raise pressure. Less volume and more relaxed vessels lower it. Blood pressure naturally changes throughout the day. It rises when you are active, stressed, or exercising. It falls when you are relaxed or asleep. That variation is normal. The problem begins when the baseline itself shifts upward and never truly settles back down.
So when someone's blood pressure stays elevated despite healthy habits, it means something inside the system is consistently increasing volume, tightening vessels, or stimulating the nervous system. And that brings us to the part most people never hear about. High blood pressure is not controlled by willpower alone. It is controlled by signals inside your body. And when those signals stay switched on for too long, your body responds accordingly, even if your habits look perfect on the surface. Once you understand that, the confusion starts to fade. For decades, we were taught a very straightforward explanation. High blood pressure equals too much salt. So naturally, people begin cutting salt aggressively. And yes, salt matters. But in real life, something interesting happens.
Some people reduce sodium and see dramatic improvement, while others see almost no change at all. That difference tells us something important. For many adults, especially as they get older, blood pressure is not primarily a salt problem. It is often a hormonal problem. And the hormone at the center of this story is insulin. Most people only associate insulin with diabetes, but insulin influences the kidneys, the nervous system, and the blood vessels. Every time insulin rises, it sends instructions. It tells the kidneys to retain sodium. It nudges the nervous system to stay slightly activated. It prevents blood vessels from fully relaxing. In short, insulin affects all three drivers of blood pressure: volume, vessel tension, nervous system tone. This response is completely normal after a meal. Insulin rises, does its job, and then falls. The issue begins when insulin does not fall. Imagine a typical day: breakfast, a snack, lunch, another snack, dinner, maybe something small at night. None of these foods are necessarily unhealthy, but each time you eat, insulin rises again. When meals and snacks are spaced too closely together, insulin never returns to baseline. Instead of rising and falling like a wave, it remains elevated like a steady tide. Not high enough to cause obvious disease, but elevated long enough to influence blood pressure. Your kidneys respond directly to this signal. They do not evaluate whether your meal was clean or processed. They listen to hormones. When insulin stays elevated, the kidneys receive one consistent message: retain sodium. Retaining sodium means retaining fluid. Retaining fluid increases blood volume. And increased blood volume raises pressure inside your arteries. Even if you reduce salt intake, if the signal telling the kidneys to release sodium never arrives, the volume remains higher than it should be. The system stays under pressure. There is another pattern people often notice. Their blood pressure is highest in the morning. They wake up already elevated. This is often not caused by morning stress. It is caused by what happened the night before. Late-night eating keeps insulin elevated during sleep. While the body should be restoring and recalibrating, the kidneys continue retaining sodium.
The nervous system never fully quiets. Blood vessels do not regain full flexibility. Morning arrives, and the reset never happened. What makes this more confusing is that many affected individuals look healthy. They are active. They are not overweight. Their labs may appear normal, but appearance does not always reflect metabolic reality. Visceral fat, the fat stored around internal organs, can exist even in people with normal weight. This type of fat interferes with insulin signaling. It forces the pancreas to release more insulin just to maintain normal blood sugar levels, so glucose looks normal. But insulin remains elevated. And when insulin remains elevated, blood pressure quietly follows.
The most common driver of persistent high blood pressure in otherwise disciplined individuals is constant feeding. Not overeating, not junk food, simply never allowing insulin to fall long enough. Grazing throughout the day keeps insulin active. Liquid calories raise insulin quickly and often. Late-night eating prevents overnight hormonal recovery. Over time, this resets your baseline upward. The solution is not extreme dieting. It is not perfection. It is space. Space between meals, space overnight, space long enough for insulin to genuinely fall. When insulin drops, the kidneys release sodium more efficiently. Blood volume normalizes. The nervous system calms. Blood vessels relax. These changes build gradually, but they are powerful.
High blood pressure is a signal of mechanical stress inside the body. When you lower the hormonal driver, you reduce that stress at its source. You allow the cardiovascular system to function with less resistance. If you have felt frustrated despite doing everything right, understand this. Your body is not failing you. It is responding to signals. Change the signal, and the response changes. Sometimes the answer is not doing more. It is allowing your body to reset. If this explanation helped you see blood pressure differently, consider subscribing so you don't miss future discussions that connect everyday habits with what's happening inside the body.
And if you want to take this further, learning which types of movement naturally help lower blood pressure can make this process even more effective. Your numbers are not random. They are messages. And once you understand the language, you can respond with clarity instead of frustration.